Video opens with a montage of India's bustling markets and thriving industries, full of color and energy. The music is upbeat. Then, the visuals shift to stark, animated graphics showing a line graph where inflation is sharply rising and the Indian rupee symbol is shown shrinking. The music becomes tense. Aditya's world felt like it was shrinking, just like the value of his hard-earned money. At the local fair, the cheerful music of a carousel was drowned out by the anxious thumping in his chest. He watched his son's eyes sparkle with longing as the brightly painted horses spun around. But a quick glance at his thin wallet made him turn away, a bitter flicker of shame clouding his face. The small joy felt like an impossible luxury. The weight of his financial strain followed him home, seeping into the quiet corners of his life. Later that evening, the tension was a physical presence in the room as he and his wife hunched over a pile of bills. The school fees, the groceries. "Everything is more," she whispered, her voice tight with worry. Aditya's hand was clenched into a tight fist on the table, a knot of frustration and helplessness. His wife placed her hand gently over his, a silent gesture of support that couldn't erase the stress lining their faces. When their son walked past the doorway, their conversation stopped abruptly, but the heavy, stressful energy remained, an unspoken burden in the air between them. Just as despair began to set in, Aditya discovered a new path, one guided by principles of fairness and faith. He learned about halal finance, a system built on ethical foundations, shared risk, and community well-being. It wasn't just about avoiding interest. It was about building a more just and stable financial life, rooted in principles that resonated deep within him. Hope, for the first time in months, began to feel possible. With newfound resolve, Aditya took control. He wasn't just cutting expenses. He was creating a new financial plan, grounded in his values. He sat down and meticulously crafted a budget, allocating funds with purpose and intention. This wasn't a list of what he couldn't afford, but a roadmap to what his family could achieve. He explored halal investment opportunities, diversifying his savings into Islamic mutual funds, which invest only in ethical, Sharia-compliant companies, and learned about sukuk, or Islamic bonds, which offer a share in the ownership of an asset. He also looked into ethical real estate investments, building tangible wealth for his family's future. Months later, a different Aditya stands tall, his shoulders relaxed and his expression confident. The change is not just in his bank account, but in his entire demeanor. We see him back at the fair, lifting his gleeful son onto the very same carousel. As the ride begins to spin, he smiles broadly, his son's small hand held securely within his own. Back at home, the atmosphere is light and filled with laughter. Aditya and his wife exchange a quiet, knowing smile from across the living room. A look of shared relief, contentment, and the deep peace that comes from building a secure future together. The video concludes with an inspiring montage of diverse Indian families and individuals, shop owners, young professionals, parents, confidently managing their finances, using apps, and planning for their future, all with a sense of empowerment and hope.